running the Pittsburgh Baseball Club, meaning the people actually running it, were all in a room and learned that they'd won the draft lottery, the rights to select Paul Skeens, they jumped up and down like school children. Remember the video? Remember that? Remember how embarrassing it was? What about their reaction since then to having Skeens and Jared Jones in the fold? Good morning to you. Good Monday morning. I'm Dejan Kovacevic of DK Pittsburgh Sports, and this is Daily Shot of Pirates. It comes your way bright and early every weekday. If you're into football and or hockey, I also offer daily shots of Steelers and Penguins. Where you found this? Cubs 5, Pirates 4 in 10 innings. Yesterday, that's 2 of 3 for Chicago. The Pirates, like myself, are flying up to Milwaukee. A 3-game set with the Brewers begins tonight at 7:40 p.m. Eastern Time, first pitch. And this team will go there with Skeens and Jones and all kinds of theoretical hope and warm and fuzzy and everything else because of these pitchers. And you could throw Mitch Keller and even Martin Perez into that. Quinn Priester, Bailey Falter. It's been a pretty good rotation. It has the chance to be something extraordinary, except that it's part of the Pirates, except that it's overseen by the same people who completely wigged out upon finding out that they could draft Skeens, only to do absolutely nothing once he actually showed up. It is only the most Pirates thing ever to get super ecstatic over something that involved nothing but, well, A, being the worst team in baseball, and B, dumb luck. But then, faced with the responsibility, at least it should be a responsibility, to do something, to build an actual roster around this found gold, they did nothing. Even when Jones showed up in spring training, and then in the biggest way once the season started, now it looks like you don't have just one of these unicorns, you've got 2 of them. Still, nothing. Could have signed Rhys Hoskins like the Brewers did. Nope. They got Rowdy Tellez. Could have signed an outfielder. Could have signed position players all over the diamond. Nope. They got Edward Olivares. Could have spent some money. Nope. The money that they did have, they put into Aroldis Chapman, an aging reliever who wasn't going to be the closer and who probably wasn't going to be the setup man either. And even now that they've seen this team completely collapse offensively, and I don't know that there's a more appropriate term for it, because what we've seen over the past month, with the notable and striking exception of Saturday, the 5 home runs and 10 runs, what we've seen otherwise is only the worst offense any of us have ever laid eyes on in the city of Pittsburgh. Derek Shelton's done nothing about that. Everything is status quo. His lineups are status quo. He keeps shuttling Connor Joe, I can't even say this with a straight face, in and out of the lineup as if he's still a bench guy, as opposed to the only bleeping bat they have. Ben Cherington's done less than nothing about it. He could have fired his hitting coach, Andy Haynes. Hasn't done that. Won't do that. Won't even discuss it when it's brought up. He could have acquired better players than what he did. He could still be doing something, anything, relative to changing some of these names that are on this roster. This is nuts at this point. This shouldn't be about saving face on bad contracts. It should be saving face on the bad start to a season. Travis Williams has done nothing. He has the authority to go to Cherington and tell him, hey, Ben, you know this nothing that you've been doing? How about instead you do something? Bob Nutting could do any of that. Bob Nutting could tell Travis Williams to go tell Ben Cherington, to go tell Derek Shelton, to go tell Andy Haynes. But nobody is doing anything. They're in self-protect mode. They're 5 turtles under the same shell. And nothing's going to change about this season just by waiting it out, just by toughing it out, or just by whatever all that nonsense was that Cherington was speaking the other day in his press conference, this 5-minute rambling statement that basically was tantamount to, well, the players just need to tough out each at bat and trust the guy behind them and keep the line moving on the bases. And what? What? Are you not watching these guys? Are you not seeing what they're doing at the plate? You think this is about moving people? Do you think this is about clutchiness? Do you think this is about, coming through in the big situations? And it's not. The team doesn't get on base. You can get mad, and I wouldn't blame you for, pointing the finger yesterday at Brian Reynolds, O'Neill Cruz, even though Cruz had an otherwise wonderful day with that bases loaded situation there in the 9th inning. But that's a red herring. It's a smokescreen. They know it. This isn't about lousy timing. This is about batting a collective 194 over the past month and change. That requires real action. That also requires, the kind of energy that you show when you jump up and down and winning some stupid lottery. When we come back, J1Q. This portion of Daily Shot of Pirates is brought to you by our friends at North Shore Tavern. That's directly across Federal Street from PNC Park. It's home of Steak on a Stone, an eating experience, underscoring the word experience. The steak is brought to you partially cooked on an 800-degree stone, and you do the rest. It's a ton of fun, it's a great meal, and it's a baseball atmosphere like no other in Pittsburgh. North Shore Tavern, right across Federal Street from PNC Park. Today's J1Q comes from Paul, and I dare say in advance, hopefully not offending anybody, this is the J1Q of the year on this program. Paul says, DK, the cumulative batting average out of the qualified hitters, meaning 25 or more at bats, featured in the organization's top 30 prospects list, according to MLB.com, is 198. Now, in case Paul threw a little bit too much at you there, I'm going to repeat it. The top 30 prospects, the hitters who are on it, in the Pirates organization, are batting 198 when lumped together. They are together as one below the Mendoza line. Paul continues, this includes the contributions of Termarr Johnson at 169, Mitch Jebb at 212, Jack Brannigan at 200, Lonnie White Jr. at 183. And while I didn't have time to formulate the numbers for slugging percentage or OPS, trust me when I say that those numbers are shockingly low as well. So the question becomes, at what point does the organization admit to their failed philosophies and make a change, or better yet, when do Bob Nutting or Travis Williams make a change in the employment status of those responsible for these failures? Paul, all I've got for you, my man, is I love you. That's all I've got. This is one of those J1Qs that adds so much more to the show than the J1A that I would offer to you. I don't have anything to say other than to add for anybody who doesn't know that the hitting philosophy is system-wide. Whatever it is in Pittsburgh is whatever it is in Indianapolis is whatever it is all the way down to the Dominican Summer League. The person who is deemed to be in charge of the hitting philosophy and instruction, again, all the way from top to bottom, is the hitting coach. That's Andy Haynes. The same applies to the pitching. Now, obviously, the hitting coach and the pitching coach can't be everywhere at the same time, which I guess is a good thing. So there are others who are responsible for, doing the stuff right there on the scene. But this begins at the top. And as you can see, from the numbers that Paul just shared with you, it has spread like the most vicious of viruses. It's not an accident, my friends. None of this is. I appreciate the question. I'd love to get even more like that one, regardless of what the subject matter is. It's just good, informative stuff. I appreciate everybody listening to Daily Shot of Pirates. And again, I'll be in Milwaukee for all 3 games of this series with the Brewers. Thanks so much for listening.